Fiji Airways is not an airline that's commonly talked about. I recently had the good fortune of flying on Fiji Airways Business Class to New Zealand. Here's my review of the Fiji Airways Business Class in their Airbus 350-900 and Airbus 320-200. First up was my flight from Los Angeles International Airport to Nadi, Fiji. That was operated on an Airbus 350-900, where the business class was set up as a 1-to-1 configuration with lie flat seats. There were 33 business class seats on this flight and 301 economy seats. I booked this flight using 55,000 Alaska Airlines miles and $62.50 in cash. I really liked how every business class seat had direct aisle access. The seats were 44 inches in pitch and had a video screen that's 17 inches. Waiting for me at my seat were a pillow, an amenity kit, and a large scarf/blanket. I actually really liked that large scarf/blanket. I don't really know what to call it because it was very thin if it's a blanket and it's very large if it was a scarf. I really liked the design of it and it felt really nice on my hands and just touching it. I actually even asked a flight attendant if passengers could keep the large scarf, and she unfortunately said no, but I was glad that I asked because I definitely didn't want to have taken it with me when I wasn't supposed to. The amenity kit came with socks, eye cover, a Fiji Airways pen, toothbrush, toothpaste, earplugs, lotion, and hand sanitizer. And of note, there's actually a bottle of Fiji water as well as the noise canceling headphones as well, but those are hidden sort of in that little compartment that's kind of like the armrest area next to the seat. I didn't even notice that when I first boarded the plane. I had to even ask the flight attendant where the headphones were. So just FYI, should you ever fly on this plane. I really appreciated the size and quality of the seatback TV monitor. There was a good amount of entertainment options available within the system, and the flight attendants handed out the menus for dinner and breakfast before we took off and offered us a welcome beverage. The dinner entree options were stuffed chicken with cherries, seared lamb loin, and a pumpkin curry as the vegetarian option. I really liked how for breakfast you could just fill out this card to let the flight attendants know in advance if you wanted breakfast and if yes, what kind of foods you wanted for breakfast. That way, if you were sleeping, the flight attendant wouldn't have to wake you up to ask you for your order before bringing out your food later. There seemed to have been a discrepancy between what was on the menu and what was actually served because I had ordered the stuffed chicken with cherries, but my chicken was stuffed with some sort of green vegetable and not cherries, that's for sure, unless they were talking about the cherry tomatoes that were on the side. The food taste was okay. I actually liked the appetizer more than the entree itself. The dessert of passion fruit chocolate mousse was quite delicious. After the dinner service was over, the flight attendants came through the business class cabin and offered to turn the seat into a bed for each of the business class passengers. I was a little bit surprised by this because I was perfectly planning to just make the seat into a bed myself versus asking the flight attendants to do that because I do not expect that at all. But it seems like that's a standard of service for them because they definitely went around and asked everybody if they would like their seats to be made into bed mode with kind of a blanket sleeping bag type of covering for the seat. After a few hours of sleep in my comfortable seat, it was now time for breakfast. I have pre-selected the apricot crepes as my breakfast selection. And I must say that I didn't like it very much because it was too overly sweet. I am someone with a sweet tooth, and yet this was too sweet for even me. I feel like there was just too much syrup or maybe like a liquidy jam that made it way too sweet to be tasty, unfortunately. One unique thing that I had never previously experienced in international business class was that Fiji Airways provided each business class passenger with complimentary Wi-Fi. And it came in the form of this little card that was basically the size of a business card. And on the back, there was a custom scratch off code that can be utilized to connect to the in-flight Wi-Fi for free. The flight was so comfortable, I wished it could have been longer, but alas, we had arrived at Nadi Airport, and so it was time to explore the business class lounge there. The lounge was very spacious with a variety of different seating options available. There were some huge TV screens on the wall for watching some different television programs. I especially liked the little cozy nooks that were along the walls in the back. A variety of juices and soft drinks were available for self-serve. Breakfast options were available in the lounge during the time that I was there. There were things like parfaits, mueslis, different kinds of baked goods. Some relatively standard hot options were also available, such as scrambled eggs, sausages, beans, etc. I must say the lamb sausages that were available for breakfast were delicious. I wasn't even very hungry for breakfast because I already had breakfast on the plane before we landed, but I tried some of those lamb sausages and I wished I was more hungry so that I could have eaten more because they were amazing. My actual favorite part of the lounge was that there was a juicer available. At first, when I saw the fruits and vegetables that were on display, I thought that they were just, for self-serve. You could have some celery, cut up pineapples, cut up pieces of watermelon. But yeah, I mean, yes, you could just have those the way they are, cut up into pieces. But you could actually, what you could do is put them into this juicing machine that's to the left. And I was able to make some delicious watermelon juice. A couple hours later, I got ready to board my next flight, onward to New Zealand. Interesting note about this was that this was part of the same award ticket as the earlier flight. Alaska Airlines mileage program is very generous when it comes to stopovers and layovers. And what's cool about this was that when I originally booked the award ticket, the second leg of the flight between Fiji and New Zealand was going to be in economy class. However, later I rechecked and I saw that there was availability in business class. And all I had to do to upgrade from economy to business class for the second leg of the flight was to pay an extra $4.30. I didn't have to pay any extra miles, so still 55,000 miles total for the flight. I just had to pay an extra $4.30, which is an amazing deal to get to fly in business class instead of economy. And so for the second flight on Fiji Airways, it was on an Airbus 320-200. The business class was set up in a 222 configuration with angle flat seats. There were 24 business class seats and 249 economy seats. The business class seats had 60 inches in pitch, which is quite a bit of legroom. These were angle flat seats, which are perfectly suitable and comfortable for shorter flights. But if it had been a longer international flight, I definitely would have preferred a 180-degree flat seat in bed mode rather than the angle flat seat in bed mode. And then I was getting ready for my third breakfast of the day. So not only did I have breakfast already on my first flight, then breakfast in the lounge at the airport, and now this second flight also is serving breakfast. And for breakfast, the options included cream cheese scrambled eggs, warm banana and pear turnover, and continental breakfast. I did end up selecting the cream cheese scrambled egg. I was really hoping that the sausage that came with breakfast was going to be that same amazing lamb sausage that was available at the lounge. But alas, that was not the case. The sausage ended up being a chicken sausage, which tasted okay, but the scrambled eggs were pretty good. After these 2 business class flights on Fiji Airways, my overall impression was that the seats were comfortable, the service was attentive, and the food was pretty good. The free Wi-Fi was an extra nice touch, and I would not hesitate to revisit that lounge at Nadi Airport. An example of the great service was that when we first boarded the initial flight departing from LAX, there was a young couple with an infant sitting right in the middle of business class. And because business class was not entirely full, there were several seats still available towards the back of business class. The flight attendants proactively asked the couple with the baby to see if they would like to spread out more by moving towards the back of business class so that they would have even an extra seat for their infant. I thought that was a great approach from the flight attendants of trying to give that young family some extra space to spread out and also helping the rest of the business class passengers by not having a baby being in the very middle of business class where if the baby cried, the entire business class would hear it. Whereas if the baby was in the back of the business class, the noise might not be as disruptive. So I thought that was very creative of them to proactively come up with that solution and implement it. I hope this video was helpful to you to learn a little bit more about what business class experience might be like on Fiji Airways. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos and have a great day.